Welcome back to another tutorial on how to create a survival game with Ultimate Survival, and in this video we're going to be learning how to unload our guns. So we're going to pick up where we left off in the last tutorial. It's going to be a very quick one this time. Well, I say quick, it's probably going to be about half an hour again because I'll be waffling and doing some pretty messy code. So let's pop into Unity and can I take his head off? Nope, I can't aim for anything. Didn't even get his attention. And we're out. Okay, let's quickly reload. Nice. And while we're at it, let's reload. There you go. And take him out with a little bit more force. There you go. So let's pop into Unity and see how we can extend. Oh, someone's chasing me. Where is he? Well, how did he get up there? Run! Okay, out of ammo, and I haven't got no more. So we better get out of this edit. Get out of this and get back into the editor. Right. See you in a second. And don't forget, thanks to the generosity of DevDog, I've got a license for Vikings of Brutality to give away. So all you need to do to be in with a chance to win this fantastic kit is be a subscriber and follow me on Twitter. Share a link to this video with a comment saying what name you would have if you were going to be one of these funky Vikings. So we managed to give those zombies a bit of a slip and we're back inside the Unity editor. So let's open up in-game GUI, canvas, and let's open up the window. Let's find the item inspector. Now let's go into 2D, and over here can't really see much because we've got our menus in the way, so let's just hide that for a moment and let's not forget to turn it back on later. So we go to our window and actions. Well, here we've got drop, consume and dismantle. So I'm going to duplicate dismantle and I'm going to call this one unload. And let's open him up, have a look at the text. We don't want our text to say dismantle, we want it to say unload. Oh, can I spell unload? And instead of red, I want it to be the pleasant yellow, orangey. There you go, a little orangey hue to my yellow. Lovely. And that's now we've got here a new button that by default is disabled, and then we're going to re-enable him in our code, so it will only be visible if he should be there. In this video, we're only going to be editing the slot.cs, the item inspector file and the new item unload file that we created in the last video. So let's pop down our slot.cs, keep going all the way down past the ammo displayer private text that we added in the last videos, and keep going down, keep going past this check here to make sure that it's enabled, keep going down, and here we are. Error handling, make sure ammo display has a value. Now we've got here the make sure that it was valid and that it's enabled, and here we just put the number of bullets into the string and displayed it in our text, but we want to do a little bit more than that, because now if we don't have a magazine in our gun, I don't want to show it to be X0, I want it to be have a dash, I want it to have a dash for it so it looks a bit different, so you can tell there isn't a mag in there. Alright, so let's just pause for a second and I'll just put in some code. Alright, so here we are. The only real difference we've got here, this is a text we had from before, and I've added in a new if statement basically saying that our current item has to have the property requires ammo mag, and our current item has to have the property has ammo mag. And let's go to view and stick our word wrap on. That's better. And it doesn't have the value has ammo mag set to true. So he's got the property has ammo mag, but the value is false because he got a big exclamation mark in front of this ball. And if it's false, don't have a mag, then we're going to show this little dash. Now otherwise, for any reason whatsoever, we're going to show X and the amount of bullets that we've got, and you're basically getting this from after the comma get item dot property value ammo, and it's int, and it's the current value for this integer. Well, let's save that. That's all we have to do in the slot file. You're done for today. Let's pop over to the item inspector and start playing. Right, this one's going to be very quick and easy as well, and we're going to go down until we find the buttons. Here they are: drop button, consume button, dismantle button. So let's grab you, copy you, and paste in, and we'll call you, imaginatively enough, unload button with an M underscore in front. And let's put in a comment here. It says new unload ammo button. Okay. Now further down, underneath all this, I just want to reference in my new item unload script. So we're going to have item unload, and it's going to be the item unload with a lowercase I. We want to put the M inventory container to be a public, because I'm going to use you later on in our item unload script. We're going to put in the awake. We're going to be placing this item unload script in the same on the same object that we've got the item inspector. That way we can now say item unload equals transform get component in parent item unload, because this script item inspector, his parent will have another child of item unload. Now we want to add a listener for our new button, so I'm going to grab you and I'll put you here, and let's go up here and grab our name M underscore unload button. So change that to that, and it'll be on unload clicked, and we need to put new item unload in front, because the on unload clicked won't actually live here in this script, it will live in our item unload. Now, I don't really like this, so I want to put a little bit of error handling and say if M underscore unload button, if I haven't dragged anything into it, into that serialized private variable, then this won't try to work. Now you could, if it was me, I'll do the same with the rest of these just to tidy it up, because I do like to have all my bases covered, but you don't need to. If you always remember to drag in something into your serialized private, then you won't need this, but you never know who's going to be playing about. And as always, let's just put a comment so we remember what we've done here. So add listener for the unload button when it's clicked. So now we're stuck with a button that's by default disabled, so we need to get it enabled. So how do we enable it? Well, we go down and we see what do they do with the dismantle button. See here it says it's going to be set active when the item has the property can dismantle. So we want to do a similar thing. Grab you and paste you in here, and we want to change this to be our button. If you can't remember what your button name was, you get worried about typos, you can always just go up and grab it. So it was up here, unload button, all the way down again until you get to your dismantle. So we say unload action, and there we go, put that in there. And we don't want to have can dismantle, but also just annoys me again, so let's put an if statement, oops, put it in the right place, an if statement to say that our variable for unload button actually has something in it. So instead of saying that we have the property can dismantle, we want to put in here the ammo property, and to make sure that it actually has some ammo. There we go, bit of pasting in. So we're saying has property ammo, and get the amount of ammo is above 0. Now it's an OR, because you've got a pipe. It has an ammo mag, because you don't really worry about how much ammo is in the ammo mag, you just care that there's an ammo mag in there. So it has a property ammo mag, and it has ammo mag ball set to true. And this is inside bracket, so basically you've got both of these conditions have to be true in this OR statement. So both has to have ammo mag property and has to have ammo mag set to true in this bool, or it's got ammo property and it's got ammo greater than 0. And those two different conditions, that's when our unload button is set to active and you can see it. And that's the coding for the item inspector file. Alright, so let's go back up to the top and grab this. Actually, grab this here, copy that, go to our item unload file and paste them in. And don't forget to indent this and stick another curly at the end. And we want to grab this GUI behavior because we're going to be using you. Here we go. So pretty much now we've copied the start of the item inspector file. I'm just going to save that in case anything horrible happens. Now in our file I want to have two variables. One of them we're going to be referencing the last item inspector script and the other one's just going to be some audio. So here we go, we've got the item inspector script with an object item inspector, and we've got here a serialized private variable and we're going to call it m_unload audio. And this is a tooltip basically explaining all that the sound that will play when we try to unload. Let's start with an awake, and in our awake we're basically going to find the item inspector from our parent. And we don't need these two anymore, so let's delete them, make some space because I'm just going to be pasting in a load of new functions. Okay, so here I'm going to put in two new public voids, and this function is called empty ammo and this one is set capacity. We're going to use the set capacity for our magazines, and the empty ammo is a generic function that we can use for everything. So for the empty ammo we need a weapon item, which is a savable item, and we need the amount of ammo that we're going to have, and that's in our int ammo stack. So our if statement is very simple, straightforward, and once again need to put on the bloody word wrap. So we've got weapon item has property ammo. That's this fellow over here, weapon item, and it has the property ammo type, and it has the property ammo capacity. So we've got a new var for ammo amount, and that's from the property ammo, and again like we do in the previous tutorials we've got another var ammo and it's an int from this fellow. And we go even deeper still and say ammo.current is how much ammo we had here in the stack. So now we're saying that we're going to set the amount of ammo in our weapon item properties ammo by whatever we had here. So ammo.current is from the ammo stack, and that's how much we're setting in our ammo amount. Now normally when you're going to be calling this empty ammo function, you're going to say which item that you want to change the value of and then how much ammo you want to have in there, and you're putting 0. So you could actually put whatever number you want in there and it will increase the ammo or set it to a different value. But I've called it empty ammo. You could call it set ammo if you want, and then you could use it for both negative and positive values. And in here you've got set capacity, very similar thing than the last one. We've got the magazine item and how much capacity we want. So we've got, and I could see I'm not consistent, am I? So we've got here a load of if statements because we use the property here ammo capacity, but in this one I haven't done it. So really I could, so we could go copy it here and paste it in. Oops, bring it in, indent you out, put our curly, and instead of being weapon item it's ammo mag item, and instead of ammo, oops, copy you. Oh, we already had it here, so we don't need to do that. So here you go. Get rid of all of that, and just make sure that didn't need to delete you. Sorry. So just make sure here that our ammo mag item has the property ammo capacity. So now that we are setting our variable ammo capacity, we can get the value ammo capacity, and like above, we've got a var for ammo capacity. We're saying it's an int, and ammo capacity.current, and it's the value of how much I brought in through this function, and that's what we're setting for the ammo capacity. Now the reason we're setting an ammo capacity is basically when we're unloading our magazine, we need to know how much capacity our magazine should have, and generally when you're loading a magazine into the gun will inherit the capacity from the magazine. That way you know that both should always be the same. So if your gun has a capacity of 20 but you load in a magazine with capacity 30, your gun now has a capacity of 30, and when you unload the magazine, that new object that you're creating in your inventory has the capacity of 30. Okay, so let's get under here and create another function, and this one is called unload mag. Unload mag, we're going to have a string for the magazine name, the ammo type, how much ammo we're going to have in the ammo stack, and the capacity of a magazine, and we're outputting a savable item, and you're going to call it savable item. Very imaginative. So by default we come in, and our savable item we've got to set it to null so that we don't have any problems, and our savable item variable we're making is ammo mag item, and we've got item data, and we're calling this one item data. It's all very imaginative names. That's basically so I don't get lost later on. So we've got here our inventory controller, instance, and the database. We're going to find an item by its name, and that's mag name that we put in here in the string when we're calling the function. So whatever we're calling the item in the item management, so if we're calling shell, we would have the mag name shell. If you're calling a magazine and we called it ammo magazine in the item manager, you'd put in the string item, you put in the string ammo magazine, or whatever you named it, and it outputs again item data. That was this fellow up here that we set. So now that we've found our magazine, we're going to set it, and we've got the output. We're now putting that into the ammo mag item, so a new savable item, item data, and that's one of them. So we've got here ammo mag item current stack 1. So we only want one magazine. Now if you're going to spawn shells or bullets and have 20 of them or 30 of them, you'd do a similar thing, but you'd put here current stack 20 or 30. Now we've got our wonderful if statements saying that does this new item have the property ammo and ammo type and ammo capacity. So we've got here empty ammo. That was our function that we made earlier. We're saying empty ammo, ammo mag item, and the ammo stack. And now, this is what I was saying before about it can be a positive or negative. We're putting the ammo from our gun into our magazine. So now this is a positive value. So our ammo mag item that we've created, that started off with nothing, now has some bullets in it. And now we've got a new var ammo type, and it's getting the value ammo type from the magazine item, and we're setting it to ammo type. So now our new magazine that we created has the same ammo type as whatever we brought in. Here it is at the top. So whatever we brought in when we called our function. So generally the ammo type of the weapon and the ammo type of the magazine will now be the same. Now with those two things done, we can set the capacity for our new item that we're spawning, and that is ammo mag item and ammo capacity, and the ammo capacity is what we brought in from the start when we called our function. Now we're going to return our savable item, the ammo mag item. Otherwise, that else is for this statement here, return false and get out. Now the last bit of code we're going to do in this entire tutorial is, well, what happens when you actually click that unload button. Right, through the magic of pause and paste, I've got in now my void for on unload clicked. And if you remember, I'm going to copy you just to make sure we've got the same name. That is what we called down here. So on our listener, item unload, that's our script, and on unload clicked. Just save that just in case I had a typo before. Pop back into the item unload script. Let's talk through it. So we've got here a ball for was unloaded, and I've set it to false to start with. So we need to make sure that our gun wasn't previously unloaded, and when you call this script, it's basically saying at the start you're not unloaded. And I'm creating a var for our current item, the inspected slot, and we're having another savable item for our ammo mag item. So once again, another nice if statement just to make sure that our item, this fellow here for the inspected slot, has all the properties we need. So it's got ammo type, ammo and ammo capacity. We've got ammo magazine, we've got a generic magazine item that I like to use whenever I unload. Now you could change that to whatever you want. So you could even have this as a nub, you could have this in here, and you would pass through the magazine name as part of the function. So that could be customizable. But for me, I'm just leaving it here as string, always is mag name ammo magazine, because I've got a generic magazine. And the type for this, the ammo type for this magazine, getting the property ammo type, and it's a string, so we've got to say here it's a string. How much ammo is in my item? Once again, I'm grabbing the amount of ammo from the original weapon, because it's a full unload. I'm not doing any partial unloads, and getting the capacity of my current item as well, so that's ammo capacity and the current for the int. And you can see here I had a debug before when I was playing about, so I don't really need that anymore. I'll get rid of you. We've got here check to see if the item requires an ammo mag, which means it's likely a weapon. In your game you could have things that aren't weapons that require ammo magazine. It's entirely up to you. You have the freedom to do whatever you want, and that's the beauty of coding. So we've got here another check. Do you have the property have ammo mag, and does it have a value of ammo mag is true, so it has ammo mag ball. If you do have ammo mag property and you've got an ammo mag in there, then you're alright and you can actually eject that magazine from the weapon. So we've got here var for has ammo. Well, I've got that here, has ammo mag ball, and has ammo set value. I'm setting my ball to false, because when I started I had the magazine and it was true. Now I've ejected the magazine, this should be false because you don't have a magazine anymore. And you see here I'm calling empty ammo, and this time I'm putting a 0, so I'm emptying out the ammo from my weapon. And that's this item here, which is the, right back up to the top, the current inspected slot. And now we're calling our unload magazine function that we had a moment ago, passing through the magazine name, the ammo type, the stack, capacity, and we're outputting the magazine item from the ammo mag item, we're going to call it. Now we're going to try and add it to our inventory. So we've got here the item inspector, inventory container, try to add the item, ammo mag item that we outputted from using our unload mag function. Now at the start we said you weren't unloaded. Well, now was unloaded is actually true. That way we can come down here. So we've got to make sure that we actually have some ammo, so we make sure that ammo stack is greater than 0. With a magazine you don't have to worry about that, because you're always going to output the magazine even if there's no ammo in there. And then you've got was unloaded is false, so you haven't previously tried to unload. Item inspector, try to add the item, ammo type, and the ammo stack. So ammo type now is up here, ammo type, here it is, and that's what we've got here. Our item, current item's probably value of ammo type. So whatever type of ammo your gun wants, when you unload, that's what you want to spawn in your inventory. And how many you want to do is how much was in the gun, so that's the ammo stack. Now we want to empty our gun, and that's the item, and set it to 0. Now sometimes you're actually unloading bullets from the magazine itself. So if you are unloading bullets from a magazine, you want to check, is your item a magazine by checking does it have the property is ammo mag, and in which case, so instead of actually emptying bullets out of the magazine, I'm pretty much destroying that magazine and creating a new one that's empty. Now we're running the unload mag script, we're outputting our ammo magazine, and we're trying to add the item ammo mag. Once again we're setting our was unloaded to true. Now sometimes it really annoys me when in Ultimate Survival in the item inspector you don't actually see the display name of an object, you see the name, and the name where you put inside the item management, that's what you're referencing to in the script. So I'm putting now display name length, make sure it's greater than 0, so there's something in the display name and it's not set to null. Then I'm saying my item name is actually the display name. Otherwise, the item name is the name of the actual object, so what you currently have. And now, if was unloaded is true, then I'm going to put a nice yellow message in the bottom left side of the screen, the push message, saying that the item name has been unloaded. Otherwise, when you kind of click the button, I'm going to say that the item has nothing to unload. Otherwise you're clicking there, if you don't get a message and you think it's broken, you just click in and nothing happens. So I want to tell you that there's nothing to unload. Back inside the Unity editor, let's not forget to put our menus back on, otherwise when we click escape we won't be able to see our sexy menu from before. Let's go to our, where are you hiding? In-game GUI, item inspector, here it is, and let's click add component and let's put our item unload, and I want to put a value in here, so we've got a noise to play. And is there a unload? No, there isn't an unload audio, so let's put a reload. No, let's put gun reload 3. And how does that sound? Oops, hang on, go to project here. How does it sound? Are we happy with it? Yeah, I'm happy with that. Yeah, what does 2 sound like? What does 1 sound like? Nah. What about this one? Oh, I like that one. Weapon gun Mosin Nagant. Alright, we'll use that one instead. Let's go back to our item inspector and drag in weapon gun Mosin Nagant. Is that a type of gun? Agent M7? I don't know. I'll use G3s and Zastafez myself, so I've got no idea. And don't forget that we've got here our unload button, and we said that our unload button is only going to be displayed if it has a value. So let's drag in our unload button. Alright, let's click play. First thing I notice is down the bottom I've got my gun here with a dash saying it doesn't have a magazine, and oh, my shotgun, when I click it I've now got unload. Now we've got 12 shells here. Let's unload and see what happens. Oh, now it goes up to 14. We've got a magazine. Let's unload our magazine. Yes, our magazine goes to 0, and now we've got 30 shells, or 30 bullets rather. Let's drag them in. Now let's load up our magazine in our gun. Shoot. Got 18. Let's unload it. Yes, look at that. So we've got 18 in our gun, in our magazine. Let's unload our magazine, and we've got 18 bullets and nothing in our magazine. Can we load them directly into our gun? Oh, got here a problem, haven't we? Object reference not set to an instance of an object. Alright, where did we go wrong? Something we've missed out in our script. So let's have a look. Let's do a bit of error handling together. Okay, so on our ammo drag handler, line 118, we now need to make sure that we've got the conditions correctly set up. Okay, here we are at 118, and it looks like it's having a bit of a problem when it's trying to add some ammo into a gun. Now it's doing a check that you can do the load from ammo mag, and the item you're dropping onto has property has ammo mag, and here we're basically getting the amount of ammo we have on our dragged item, and then we're going to use it. But we need to make sure that the item we're dragging actually is a magazine. So let's put here a return false, and we want to say m underscore dragged item has property, and it has the property is ammo mag. Yeah, so if the item that we're dragging is an ammo mag, then in the ammo stack get the value of how much ammo it has. Otherwise return false. Alright, let's click save and pop into Unity and see if it works. Alright, we're back inside Unity, so let's click play and unload this, unload you, back onto our gun, and this time, here you go, it swaps it around. Nice. Can we load into our shotgun? No. Good. Wonderful. So let's load ammo, and can we still load it? Yes. Can we still load our shotgun? Yes. Alright then. So we've got our unload button working, and if I got here shotgun has been unloaded, unload again, it says shotgun has nothing to unload. If I try to unload my assault rifle has been unloaded, and if I unload my magazine, and my magazine has been unloaded, and if I click it again, I don't actually have the unload button anymore because I don't meet the conditions to unload. If I click my shotgun, I don't see the unload button anymore, and if I click my assault, I don't see the unload button anymore. Fantastic. Okay guys, that was it. We've now got fancier ammo logic. We can load a magazine, we can unload our guns, and we can load assault rifles or automatic weapons with magazines. Now you can extend that to pistols, Uzis, you name it, you make it. Okay guys, and don't forget our competition we're currently running that you can get your hands on, Vikings of Brutality from DevDog. All you need to do is be a subscriber, follow me on Twitter, and then tweet a link to this video with a nice comment saying, if you were a Viking, what funky Viking name would you have? And nothing too obscene. Remember, the internet is a nice place for people of all ages, races, and orientations. So, remember guys, if you like it, click it. See you next time. If you want to see more on the Ultimate Survival series, click on the links on the left side of your screen. And if you like these videos and you want to see more of them, please click subscribe. It's in that big button that's down below. And it's next to it, there's a little magic bell. And when you click that bell, it tells you when there's a new video out. So cheers, thanks for all the support.